Although older people are not immune from the rising tide of obesity, the biggest problem is actually undernutrition.
Up to 10% of older people are at risk of malnutrition in this country.
Around 30% of older people who are admitted to hospital are suffering from malnutrition.
It's shocking that in such an affluent country the numbers of older people at risk of malnutrition are so high, and it's really unnecessary because the solutions to the problem are so simple.
In this programme, we'll see how malnutrition can pose a risk for older people in residential care. We'll look at steps being implemented to counter the problem, and we'll take a glimpse at the simple screening technique being used to safeguard against weight loss.
There does seem to be quite a wide variation in the extent to which care homes prioritise nutrition and hydration and deal with it effectively. There are some fantastic examples of care homes who've actually grappled with this issue and made it a real priority. There's a real opportunity to learn from the best and bring everyone up to a really high standard.
In the Dorset town of Sherborne, the 50 residents of the Hayes care home live in cottages of 10 bedrooms each. In 2008, the Hayes was named Care Home of the Year by the National Association of Care Catering.
There isn't really a secret in doing well, it's training. I think that you have to learn from the bottom, you know, how to make a roux, knowing how to do home traditional cooking. It's not opening a bag. I think that in a residential home it should be all homemade food and not convenience food. And that's what I was trained to do.
Mealtimes are extremely important. It's the highlight of a lot of people's days.
The pork's in there and your vegetables are all under there.
Bless
Is that
you.
right?
And I need some large spoons, okay?
Yeah, I can get you some.
And it's an opportunity for people to meet together, especially for those residents who prefer to spend time on their own in their bedrooms. We do try and encourage them to join in with at least one meal a day.
It's quite hard, really.
It's stuck here.
Water or squash?
Mealtimes are not just the food that we eat, it's who you ate it with, where you were seated, was it comfortable?
Oh, this is very nice.
We put the effort in to make sure that the cutlery, the crockery all match, the tables are decorated, residents are assisted to eat in a dignified, respectful manner.
Every morning I go around and ask if the residents are up what they'd like for breakfast. I'm always one-to-one with my residents, even though there's 50.
I'm fine, I eat everything, lovely food.
Good.
Cheese salad and the ham salad, which are the two visitors.
Okay.
We encourage relatives and friends to come as well to eat meals with the residents. I think it gives them reassurance that we are providing good nutritional diets.
Finished vegetables? Finished. Do you want some carrots and some cabbage?
I've always said the food is excellent. Yes, and it is, and plenty of it.
The food in here is very good. You wouldn't get a better place than this to have your meals in.
Right. Afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hope you've all enjoyed your lunch. Good, good, good.
As part of ensuring that residents feel that they have choice and control in their lives, we have a residents' forum every month. We always try and make sure that the catering manager, Jenny, attends the forum meetings because food is always a hot topic.
A couple of the residents always ask for things like faggots, the old traditional food like rice pudding, why don't we have it done in the oven so it's got skin on, syrup on their bread and butter. But that's what they like and that's what we're here to please, you know, we're here to please them.
I'm going to hand over to Jenny now.
If anybody has any suggestions they would like on the new menus or there's something wrong with them, I'm here today to take your complaints.
Well, I know I'm going to get shouted down. Tripe.
Tripe.
Bananas.
Anybody else agree with Bill? Tripe and onions? Oh, we had some yeses.
You know, if you would like that on, that's what, you know, I can put on the menu.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get shouted down. So.
They will often ask for things that we can't always provide. They wanted roast leg of lamb once a week. The budget won't run to that. As long as we tell them why we can't provide, generally they seem to accept that. What is important is making sure that they have an opportunity to discuss their ideas and their views about the home.
Are you happy when you have your birthday teas?
I think I like to mention, Jenny, and that is in some of the homes, every cottage comes out on the birthday.
One or two can be more vocal than others. So we also undertake monthly quality assurance exercises, and that's where we have a fairly simple form, and one of the questions is about, do you enjoy the food and would you like to see any changes? So in that way we try and reach as many residents as possible.
People say, what's it like there? I just say, well, it's the best hotel in Sherborne. Yeah. I figure I'll have the managers from the hotels after me saying that, they're losing custom.
Soon, all residents of the Hayes will be nutritionally screened by a technique called the Malnutrition Universal Screening Tool, otherwise known as MUST.
It's important that when people come into health and social care services, we screen them to make sure they are not at risk of malnutrition. There's a screening tool called the MUST tool that's been primarily used in healthcare services, but it requires minimal training for frontline workers to use it.
So what we'll do is we'll run through the new nutritional screening policy, and we're going to use Maria here as our resident, as an example. Okay. I must admit, I always thought MUST was quite a complicated tool. And when you understand that it is just a matter of talking to people and finding out about their weight and height, you realise that it's a very simple tool.
Body mass index, BMI, is a measurement that can be used to determine whether a person is under or overweight. The weight and height of an individual are used to calculate their BMI score.
Do you know what your weight is?
61.8 kilos.
And your height?
170 centimetres.
So we'll come up to 61 kilos, and then you take the lines up to there and across to there, and it would join in there. It'll have a BMI score of 21. Yeah. Then what you're also doing is talking to your resident about whether or not they've recently had any unplanned losing of weight. So Maria, have you recently lost any weight?
Yes, I have 5 kilos.
Okay, so on the other opposite side of the sheet, that gives her a score of 1.
While her BMI is spot on, Maria's recent weight loss means she scores 1 on the MUST scale.
She's at medium risk of malnutrition. So what you're wanting to do is encourage and observe, encouraging more of the cakes and the crumpets, the calorific, high calorific type foods that perhaps you wouldn't normally be eating. If somebody has a score 0, you actually just need to, observe and really take no action. If they are looking towards the slightly heavy side, you might be trying to encourage healthier eating. If someone has a 2 or higher, then you're trying to add extra creams. We're probably offering Complan or Build Up as a mid-morning and mid-afternoon drink. If you're feeling like you're really not having much success, they would then get referred via the GP to a dietitian. Within really 48 hours of a new resident coming in to the care home, we complete a nutritional care needs chart. Then you're talking about really likes and dislikes. Maria, what sort of likes and dislikes do you have around food?
I like a lot of fresh salads, feta cheese and fresh tomatoes, basil, mozzarella.
So that's a real growing document, because as you get to know your residents more, you can add to it so that, for instance, when they're not feeling particularly well and you're trying to encourage them to eat, you can say, oh, well, actually, we've bought some mozzarella cheese and we've done this for you, wouldn't you like it? And it might be just enough to turn it around so that Maria goes, yeah, okay, I'll eat that, and she'll start to feel better.
It's hoped that the MUST tool will ensure we know when older people are having enough to eat. But eating is only half the issue.
Hydration is also a really important part of nutrition. You may find that older people will reduce their fluid intake because they're frightened about continence issues and that they have to ask to be helped to go to the toilet, and that's embarrassing. So they try and reduce their intake, and the result of that will be that they end up with a urinary tract infection and actually have to go to the toilet more often and possibly have medication.
In the fight against dehydration, One care manager in Suffolk promotes one of the cheapest and most plentiful ingredients around.
Things started really because I have a passion. I've been a nurse for over 30 years, and one of the things, having worked in community and different care settings, is that people don't drink enough. And I realised that the home I was working in, people were having accidents, falls, a lot of constipation, a lot of medication for constipation, people really getting urinary tract infections, and I thought unnecessarily. The residents were encouraged by staff at all times to drink, and we got some water coolers in and instigated people having jugs in their room. Very, very simple, not expensive. It's 1p a litre, that's what we get down to. And really there's no excuse not to do it.